Alright guys, welcome back to PCW. We are here for our second ever show. Last week we crowned a new Cultaholic video podcast world champion in Sean. So I'm sure everyone's excited to see who his next challenger will be. So before we get into the actual show this week, I'm actually going to show off we have some locker room incidents before I book the show, so I'll probably show that off to you. So here we go. Incident involving Jennifer has gotten a lot of heat with the rest of the locker room for her selfish behavior. Oh, well, that's that's a shame. I think stern warning is, yeah, that's a good hint. There has been an incident involving math. Oh gosh, why do all my why do all my like personality people have to be involved in incidents? He's gotten a lot of heat after letting rip the world's stinkiest fart. Oh my gosh. Uh Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think that's really uh yeah, that's not really a major thing, but that's certainly funny. So yeah, let's see. Oh, okay. Another thing I wanted to do before this episode is I wanted to show off some of the more interesting bios, the biographies for the some of the wrestlers. So here we go. We'll go through. Adam Ost is from, I guess it's Reading, England. Is a sadistic bastard who loves torturing people. So that's nice. Arbor is a simple man from Albania who always brings his goat Pavel with him to the ring. He is also a carpenter, apparently. So yeah, that's that's interesting. We have Christopher Matthews, uh, tag team specialist, the guy who's overly English, Duke Hunter, El Blanco. He's from Mexico City. He has a gimmick similar to the Undertaker's, apparently, but more Hispanic, with Day of the Dead references, and he carries a guitar. So maybe he'll go hit some people with guitars at some point. Frank is a wrestler from Germany. He acts as hired muscle for groups. Gag Mongoose. He wears a mongoose mask and singlet. He has spent time in Mexico, and his finisher is called the Jambalaya Fork. There's a typo in his bio, but I can't fix it right here. It's supposed to say I hate snakes, not I have snakes. Let's see. We'll see. I'll just go through. You can read them yourselves if you want to. Any that are particularly interesting, I will read out. Resisting authority, lone wolf, hardcore specialist, and self-proclaimed computer geek. I don't know how those two things go together, but okay. Nate Skinner is sacrificing to his gods. Okay. Okay. Heavyweight wrestler from Liverpool. Okay. Yeah, that's the baby boomer is a good one. Dragon, pure luchador, made an impact in Japan. Interesting. We have the Hood, man with the plan, Mr. Craig, the Thunderstorm, and Tim Hero. All right. Yeah. So I think we're good for that. I think this week we'll go ahead and jump right into the show. So I will cut, and when we come back, we will start the show. All right, guys, welcome back to PCW. And here we are with our first match of the pre-show for this week. We have a 3-match pre-show this week before we get onto the main card. Here we go. We have Helena Hurt and Lauren versus the Baby Boomer and Psycho Sydney. And they had a decent match, it looks like. Good wrestling, decent reaction. Helena Hurt carried the match in terms of in-ring performance, but it looks like Helena Hurt has actually sustained a injury, a mover's back strain. Interesting. And parts of the crowd were once again upset that there weren't more dangerous spots included in this match. Great. Oh, man. Performance-wise, Helena Hurt really did carry this match. So, it's interesting. So, before we keep going, though, I would like to announce that our main event for the show, if I'm going to go ahead and announce what the main event will be, it'll be Sean Fleming. He has an open challenge to any wrestler in the backstage. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out to try to challenge him, not for the title, but for the opportunity to face him. And perhaps if they win, they would obviously be in the front of the line for a championship match. We also have the second first round match in the Ultra Violence Tag Team Tournament. I will not announce the competitors yet, but I can say that a certain fan favorite is in that match. So, yeah. So, yeah. And then next segment. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that. In a pre-show bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Jason Thane defeated Frank Mueller. I think I'm going to say it Mueller. So, I believe I was told how to pronounce this, but I believe I've already forgotten, so I hope Mueller is fine. But yeah, Jason Thane defeating Frank Mueller. Jason Thane is our submission champion. Alright, so on to the next match. Which would be the last match of the pre-show, I believe. It's Adam Ost versus KM Oak versus the man with the plan, Mr. Craig. In a pre-show match that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, Adam Ost defeated KM Oak and the man with the plan, Mr. Craig. With Adam Ost defeating the man with the plan, Mr. Craig, by submission. Wow. That's very interesting. KM Oak had a very good performance. So, perhaps see him rising up the card in the near future. Yeah, so here we go. We're about to start the main card. And let's see. Anything else to say about this match? I don't think so. Here we go. So we have Tim Hero and the Thunderstorm versus Arbor and Gag Mongoose in the first round of the Ultra Violence Tag Team Tournament to determine the first ever Ultra Violence Tag Team Champions in a bout that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd. Arbor and Gag Mongoose defeat Tim Hero and the Thunderstorm in 9 minutes and 35 seconds when Gag Mongoose defeated Tim Hero by pinfall. Man, alright, so a lot of people were telling me that Gag Mongoose is indeed a fan favorite, so I thought, you know, he didn't win the World Championship last week, but perhaps this is his opportunity to still have some gold around his waist if he can, next week, if he can defeat the Best Match Machines. I think I might have messed up their tag team name there, but it's Christopher Matthews and Frank Mueller next week in some sort of hardcore stipulation that I haven't decided quite yet. I have some ideas, but I think I'm going to leave it to be a surprise what the stipulation will be there. Let's see, for more notes for the match. This match got the crowd hard. Okay, wait. I almost said something really not what I meant there. Hotter. Got the show off to a strong start. The Thunderstorm had everyone had a decent performance. Arbor doesn't. He's not the best in ring, but it's okay. Gag Mongoose is more than good enough to carry Arbor through his matches. So we're on to the next match, as we have Nate Skinner versus the Dragon. So Nate Skinner and the Dragon both had very good performances in this match, and Nate Skinner defeated the Dragon by submission. And I believe Nate Skinner is now going to cut a promo, and Nate Skinner is cutting a promo on Jason Thane, challenging Jason Thane for a match for the World Submission Championship. So you have that to look forward to perhaps sometime in the future. Of course, Jason Thane hasn't accepted his challenge, but I'm sure that perhaps next week we will get an answer from Jason Thane on whether he will accept this challenge from Nate Skinner. Nate Skinner did very well in this promo. He improvised well. So yeah, good for Nate Skinner. Let's on to the next segment, which is a three-way match between the Hood, El Blanco, and Duke Hunter, and it had great wrestling. And El Blanco defeated the Hood and Duke Hunter by submission once again. There are a lot of submission finishes on this show, which is interesting. The Hood had an in-ring performance of 72, El Blanco 72. Duke Hunter had a performance of 74. That's pretty darn good. I don't think there's anything else to say about this match. And here we go with our main event with Sean Fleming versus Christopher Matthews. Christopher Matthews accepting Sean's open challenge. And, he got crushed, basically. It looks like. Sean Fleming's defeated him. And he lasted a while. He lasted 9 minutes against the champ. So, good for Christopher Matthews. You know, hopefully he didn't get damaged too much before his championship match next week for the Ultraviolence Tag Team titles. But, yeah, Sean Fleming is asserting his dominance over PCW. And, And, it looks like Adam Aust has come in and attacked Sean Fleming. After the match, it looks like Adam Aust is trying in a unique way to get himself a championship match. This isn't the way that you normally get a championship match, but perhaps it'll work. So you'll see Sean's reaction to this next week on PCW. I believe this is the last thing. So let's go to the recap of the show. The show increased our population. What the heck am I talking about? Popularity in 30 regions. So looks like we had a good show. Everything did pretty decent in the ratings. So yeah. I believe that's everything. I'll continue on to the next day. I have some emails. Helena hurt, injured. Got a rating, a 5.24 TV rating. Dick Tubbs' opinion. Jason Thane is a natural talker. He is worth giving promo time, in my opinion. Oh, well. I'll have to keep that in mind. So I believe that is all we have for this episode of Podcast Championship Wrestling. So this episode, you'll notice, was quite a bit shorter than the last one, and I believe this is about the length that I want them to be, anywhere in between like 8 and 15 minutes is kind of where I'm aiming for. Perhaps more if we ever have, we don't have any scheduled major events right now, but down the line perhaps we will. But yeah, so this has been, we had a good show, better than last week, and I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you next week to see Sean Fleming's reaction to being beaten down in the ring by Adam Aust. So yeah, that's it for this week in Podcast Championship Wrestling.